Copilot has two flavors. Two in the sense, there's a free version and the paid version. Most of what we do today will be focused on the paid version, but we also need to know when and why to use the free version. And in order to understand that demarcation, let me clarify in the beginning. Many people are looking for Copilot button in their office and they don't understand why it is not coming. So first things first, Copilot and ChatGPT, and two flavors of Copilot. So let's understand that. ChatGPT is the underlying technology for Copilot. Copilot itself, with ChatGPT behind the scenes, has two flavors. The one flavor is called the regular Copilot, which is called Microsoft 365 Copilot. What does that mean? So let me actually start showing you demos so it's clearer for everyone. So here is my normal Office 365 screen. You go to the Home tab and then you will see a Copilot button here as a part of Office 365. That is the Copilot. That is the Copilot M365 Copilot. Now, if you just go to copilot.microsoft.com, you will see again the Copilot logo, but there is no Microsoft 365 written. This is the free version of it. Now, first question is, do you have access to at least the free version? Maybe not, because many people in IT have blocked all type of generative AI for various security or sensitivity, privacy kind of reasons. Now, that's a good initial reaction, but your organization will benefit from Gen AI in general if your data is protected. So the recommendation is, don't just block all generative AI. You enable this version of generative AI, copilot.microsoft.com. This is free. Of course, it doesn't have all the capabilities of paid version of Copilot, but it has a very important capability. When you log in into the free version, you'll see web written here. Using your corporate ID, that means M365 ID, something special happens. It is still Copilot, but whatever data you put there will not be utilized or misused, and there will be no privacy concern and so on. So what does that mean? This means when you are logging in using this ID and see this green mark there, you go there, it shows you commercial data protection. Please enable that and encourage your staff, all staff, to use it. Because many people don't know that this is safe. Why is it safe? These are the reasons. Now, if you're a technical person, of course, one slide is not going to convince you. You need additional technical details. So this is the QR code, and I'll also paste the link as an announcement in the Q&A. So you can refer to it later on. Just give me a second to do that. So what is happening here? Now, if you have data inside your chat and you copy pasted something from a very confidential Word or Excel file, that data is safe. The same thing cannot be said if you allow people to use random Gen AI tools. Why not? Because those are not following your security and compliance standards. Whereas here you are logged in using Office 365, so it is following your security, compliance, and privacy standards and policies. So I have just put the commercial data protection link as an announcement. All right, so that is out of the way. Now, question is, how does this whole thing work? So let's see this in action, and then we will understand the nuances. Where is Copilot? Another commonly asked question and another commonly not fully understood part of the story. So here, this is the free version. And if you have the paid version, you will see a tab here. Because for both of them, the login is the same, Office 365 login. So here, if I click on work, actually it's switching context to my Microsoft 365 paid version of Copilot. Now, this is one way of going there. The other way I showed you, just go to office.com regular, and then there is a Copilot button. That also we saw, which gives you this. So what is the difference between the two? Well, they are exactly the same. The user interface may look a different a little here and there, but the outside version with, so copilot.microsoft.com, work tab is same as M365 Copilot. It's just the theme is white and dark. So now let's see some examples of how this M365 chat can be useful. Now, does it mean this is the only place where Copilot is available? Absolutely not. Copilot is available across multiple apps within Microsoft 365. I hope all of you know and use all the Microsoft 365 apps, because that's another part of the story. Many customers have M365, but every user may not know all the apps which you have. So we will not go into that right now because this session is focused on Copilot, but that's another part of adoption you should be focusing on. So not just the chat, but amongst all these Microsoft 365 apps, many of them have built-in Copilot. So depending on what you are trying to do, you go to the correct Copilot. Now, how do you choose where to go? There is a chat version of Copilot, which I have shown here. And then there is a Copilot in Word and Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Forms also now, Whiteboard, and many other places. In fact, let me just remove the ones where it is not there, and then you will know. So these are the products where it is available. And as time progresses, more and more products are in the process of getting the Copilot. Now, that's another thing you have to remember. You purchase Copilot 6 months back, 1 year back, today, whatever time it is, the amount you're paying to Microsoft is not really changing on month-on-month basis, but the number of features it is adding is increasing very rapidly because it's a new product. Incidentally, even if it is an old product like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Microsoft keeps adding new features every week. Yes. Now, how do you know what is Microsoft doing? It's important because we need to know what is available so that we can use it. So there's another site they should be going to. It's called Microsoft Roadmap. So when you click there, what happens? You will see what new features are coming in which Microsoft product across the board, Microsoft Roadmap. So because we are talking about Copilot today, I'm going to just put a keyword, Copilot. And then what happens? No features. Yeah. So 74 were recently launched and released. 7 are rolling out as we speak, and new 85 are coming. And you can actually filter on each of them and see what happens. For example, while we are at it, earlier the Excel conditional formatting rules in Copilot were restricted to one column related activity or filter condition. Whereas here now, multiple are supported. Like that, in Excel earlier, whatever you asked, it would do and actually change the data. Now it shows a preview, and then you can say apply so that there is some additional level of control. So like that, lots of enhancements get added. Similarly, new features and new apps also get infused with Copilot. So now with all that, let's go ahead and look at one by one how they are capable. And then while I'm showing it to you, you can think which one is more relevant in which context for all of you. So when you go to M365 home page, many people may have never gone there. Even before Copilot comes, there's one small but very powerful feature. Home page of Microsoft 365 has a search text box on the top. That's the best, fastest search you can ever imagine, this search box. So when I type something, I'm going to search for a phrase, look at what it does. It's very fast. It found lots of search results, but more importantly, it searched across files, across SharePoint, across intranet news, global address list, Teams meetings and chats, emails, images, videos with transcripts, and Power BI reports. There is no other search which can do this. So this is your default method of searching from now onwards. Not Copilot, but very useful anyway. And why did I show this to you? Because I want to tell you that anything this search is capable of finding, Copilot is capable of using. So Copilot has exactly the same access as you. Just think of it as your human assistant. Suppose you have one clone of yourself and you give the username password to that person. What access will that person have? Exactly that is Copilot, except that it's not a human. So wherever there is data in Microsoft platform, Copilot has access to it. If you don't have access to the data, Copilot cannot access it. So some people think that there is a security risk because there is Copilot has come. No, Copilot does not pose any security risk. If I have access, Copilot works on that file or chat or email or whatever it is. If I don't have access, Copilot can't look at it, can't use it. So by itself, Copilot is not increasing or altering or changing anything in your security exposure. So from that point of view, you don't have to do anything special from a security and access control point of view when you deploy Copilot. But then there are some other nuances which IT people can think of, where in the Copilot search results, you don't want certain SharePoint sites to come in and so on. Those customizations are possible. But we'll not go into that today. Let's go to simple thing. I have a document and I want to summarize it. This is M365 chat. M365 chat, when you go there, it says, ask me what you want. And what does that mean? Ask me what do you want, open-ended question in the context of all your data. So if it is large amount of data you want to refer to, you don't have to refer to it. You can say all my mails, all my meetings, all my chats. It has all access. But if you want to refer to a particular file, yes, you can click on the plus sign, click on attachment sign, or just say /. So it'll have access to people, files, meetings, and so on. So that is what we are going to see now. So here I have a long file, 130-page file. It's a cybersecurity report by Microsoft for last year. I want to read it, I want to understand it, I want to implement some best practices, but it's going to take me a long time. So I go to the chat and then say, give 10 insights from / refer the file. And that's it. To save time, I have screenshots, but you can try it yourself with your Copilot if you like. It asked me 10, I asked 10, that's why it's giving me 10. Was that a good prompt? Not really, because what if there were 15? So when you talk to Copilot, consider that it has understood all the topics in the world, it has ingested all your data, but it has no idea what you want. That's the gap which we have to bridge, and that's called prompt engineering. So I should have said something like, give me all important insights. Then it would not restrict its output to 10. Anyway, now another one. I am going to give a larger context. So I'm asking it, summarize all communication about Copilot this week. Now, it doesn't have to be told what is current week. It doesn't have to be told what is communication. So it's going to look at emails, chats, meetings, and then give me a concise list. So obviously, this is going to save time. And when I'm looking at the list, it has not just saved me time. If I had to do this manually, I would have to go to chat and search separately, channels and search separately, meetings are scattered in the calendar, and then email search. And then I would have got multiple search results, and maybe third search result in chat is correlated to fifth search result in Outlook. And I would still have to put things together. All that it has done precisely. Now, one more thing to understand is, after looking at this, I am neither in Outlook nor in Teams. So if I feel like responding, what do? I am in the wrong place. No, you're not. Because for each of them, there is proof. No hallucinations here. Hallucinations for open-ended generic AI. Here we are saying, look at my emails. You're not imagining emails. This is my real emails and chats and meetings. So no hallucinations here. In fact, it tells you this sentence came from where. So if you click on that citation, as we call it, it'll open the relevant item. It could be a document, chat, email, and then you take whatever action is relevant. Now, this is how the M365 chat has full-fledged access to everything you have access to, and you should ask it questions which are all-encompassing like this. These are called catch-up kind of questions. large amount of input data, but you want precise results. So anything relevant to you searching, looking at results and finding, this is the situation. Now, many people I'm sure are doing this, but they miss out on one great opportunity here. What is that opportunity? Well, we have something written here, and most people miss it. What is it saying? Tell me more about the session on work efficiency. What are the enhancements in Teams and Word? Who is some person name? Like that. It has looked at what I have asked. It has already given me the answer. But then it is thinking further on my behalf and saying, having that, let's say this is our input data now. What else can be relevant questions? So actually Copilot is showing you Copilot prompts. And that is one of the very good ways of learning how to do better prompts. That is one of the ways. What is the way? After you get output, look below and look at the prompts. You don't have to try all of them, but at least it will tell you, oh, I could have asked this. Because the way Copilot works is a little different. It is not like the traditional applications we have been using for decades, isn't it? How do we use normal applications? Word, Excel, PowerPoint. There are lots of menus, lots of features. So wherever I want, I go and click. So if I want, let's say, to create a chart, I click on this. I want a pivot table, I click on this. So I know where to go, where to click. So if I click on pivot table, for example, one time or 200 times, its action is going to be same. Its action doesn't change because I click 5 times. It's predictable and repeatable. Whereas Copilot has just one feature in that sense, technically speaking, one text box. So what does that mean? That means I don't see what features are available, how many are there. And then what happens? If I ask a particular question, if it is capable, it will answer. If I ask a question, if it is not capable, it will not answer. It will say, sorry, I can't do it. But what if I have a need, but I don't know it is capable? Then that's an efficient thing to do. Because I have the need, Copilot is capable of fulfilling the need, but I didn't know it is capable of doing it. That's a bad idea. So you need to learn what it is capable of. But there is nowhere to look at. So that's why you look at this book icon. That's called Copilot. Let me actually show you that. There's the chat and then view prompts. Now, when you click on anything, you will see some prompts up front, but that's not the exhaustive list. You click on view prompts, it'll give you a longer list. But even that is not the exhaustive list. You actually click on see all prompts, and then it'll take you to a different place. That's called Copilot Labs. So if you go to Copilot Labs, you will see a list like this, which says prompts to try. Oh, okay. And what does this do? Let's see. This has a list of all the apps, which is great. So you don't have to go to each app and look at its prompt, one single place. It also gives you the categories of what it can do. And this is important to understand because this is broadly what Copilot is capable of. What we just did with email is catch up. Create we will see soon. All the others we will see soon. But these are the capabilities of Copilot. Now this also is important in a negative sense. Negative means what is not listed here, Copilot is not designed to do. For example, some people say I will use Copilot for summarizing my Teams meeting, which it does very well. And then they expect Copilot to automatically go and create tasks for them in the To-Do app. Copilot is capable of looking at all the content in the meeting and tell you the tasks, but it will not create tasks. So what does that mean? Amongst these categories, automation is not one of them. Copilot, the M365 Copilot, is designed to be your assistant. So whatever you do, it will do in a better, smarter, faster, more elegant way. It is not designed for automation. If you want automation, you use some other angle or other aspect of OpenAI, like Azure OpenAI Studio, or some aspects can happen through Copilot Studio. But M365 Copilot is your assistant. Automation is not its job. And then the third one is by role. This is still evolving. It came recently. But bottom line, there are a lot of prompts. So I strongly suggest have the patience of doing this. If you are going to invest in Copilot, this much, half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever it takes, is absolutely worth the time. There's a long list. So click on show more. I know this sounds like a very dumb way of doing it, but that's the only thing we have right now. Because nowadays web pages are designed to work like this so that the loading time is faster. Now, if you don't click on show more till the show more button comes no more, then you're looking at a subset. So have the patience to do that. When assume, now I'll have to do it at least 12 times, but assume I have done it. Now you have the comprehensive list. Now what do? You either go by task or by app. I would suggest go by app. Look at the apps you use more commonly and click on it. But before that, look at the chat part of it. And that will give you a list of what the chat can do. This is going to be a complete list if you don't see the show more button. So like that, one by one, go to each one of them, remove the other checkbox, and then eyeball them. Yes, just read them. There is no need to try all of them. But this is the way you're going to get exposed to its capabilities. If you like some of them, conveniently there is a save prompt button. And then second step, after having done all this browsing, every day spend some time going to the saved ones and actually trying them out. And in the process itself, your beginning with Copilot will be much more productive than whatever other method you have been using. Even if you attended a training program, even in online, in person, whatever, this is a good start. So look at these and then look at the ones it gives you at the end of prompt output as well. Now, having said that, let's look at examples of how this is happening. So I'm in chat now. And in the chat, let's see how Copilot will help me do some more complex stuff. So in chat, we saw summarize long documents, summarize mails, but that's not all. Copilot has capability of handling multiple files, right? So let's see what it can do for us. So we saw summarize mails, yes. Now I'm asking it to summarize something else. Look at this prompt. Analyze my meetings and mails last month and tell me the categories of topics I work on generally and percentage time I spend on each topic. There is no specific date or number or person, nothing. And look at what it has done. It tells me I generally do lots of training sessions. I also do internal meetings, which are actually not internal meetings. In my company, there are only 2 people. But these are meetings I use during my demos to demonstrate the features. So it thinks that I'm doing a lot of meetings. And then, of course, a lot of engagement externally. And then it actually calculated the percentage. Usually, you would not be thinking of this capability. But now that you know, you're going to utilize it to see how I can improve my work. And even before I thought of that, Copilot had already given me the answer, although the prompt did not ask for it. It is saying you should do these to optimize your work effectiveness. So this is what I'm saying. It's not just utilizing Copilot to do certain things faster. That's not the transformation we are talking about. You're really transforming yourself. Now, another very important thing. Whatever we saw, mail, chat, summary, is all passive. It has happened. Now, what is going to happen? Let's see that. I have a meeting. Today morning, I asked it, what is my next meeting? And it said, okay, there is a productivity boot camp and all that. And then it showed me the meeting also. And then it's asking me, is there anything more related to the meeting you want to ask? So I did ask. I said, I want to prepare for this. Tell me all info I need to prepare for the meeting. That's all I said. And now it has given me lots of things about what I could do. All of them are sensible, logical, and so on. Now it gave me related files also, which I did not ask for. It figured out because it has all access. And now it says, okay, these are the files you have. Now it has given me follow-up questions. There is an event deck which was there. Do you want to summarize it? What are the top use cases for M365? And whatever. Now I thought, okay, of course, I do these sessions practically at least 3 or 4 every week. So I don't need to be told the use cases for Copilot, but understand this. Copilot is an evolving technology, fast evolving technology. So what I learned yesterday may actually have changed this week. So it is important even for a person who is doing this day in and day out to keep abreast with what is happening. So I did click on it and it gave me a nice list with some references and so on. Now it found a PPT which I had saying how to conduct a Copilot workshop. And it doesn't stop there. It's giving me the files and saying, do you want key points from that? So look at this, which started with just preparing for the meeting. And actually I'm preparing for the meeting in a way I would not have been able to do otherwise, even if I had access to the data. And that is what we call transformation. So at this stage, I just want to quickly tell you about the how you evaluate the effectiveness, because I've seen many people buy it, randomly allocate to two people, and then suddenly after a few months, someone wakes up and says, where is the value? That's a good question to ask, but then that's not the right way to go about asking that question. So what am I saying? When you need to understand the value of any investment, not just Copilot, technical investment I'm talking about, but it need not be restricted to that. What we need is a methodology to be implemented. So here is a simple calculator I'm going to give you. How do you do cost-benefit analysis? Because I'm assuming many of you are still evaluating it. And of course, you will say, oh, why should I pay this product versus that product? And there's direct OpenAI access and all that. So here is the calculator. After you do something, add a row. We have done recap emails, summarized documents, at least 2 we have finished. Now, so every time I use it, how much time will it save? Whatever time you put. But it's not only the time saving you have to quantify. There are many additional benefits, one or more of these. And those benefits are actually more valuable than the time we saved. So put a number, notional equivalent number, because we need something tangible. So if this is 15 minutes, equivalent of time saving of 10 minutes for these benefits. Then you think how many users will benefit from it. Right now I put 1. How often will they use it in a month? So depends on the job. Recap emails every day, summarize documents only 5 in a month. Let's see all your numbers. And then just do a simple multiplication. And then you will get total time saved per whatever. Minutes saved, convert it to hours and days. And then based on employee contribution, you can figure out what is the overall benefit. I have found this method to be really useful. Try it out. And then you have a tangible improvement potential, which is demonstrated at the early stage. And what is the benefit of this? Oh, this is not just to justify the cost. That's just the beginning. What is the additional benefit of this? After you purchase it, assuming you purchase it, this becomes your adoption strategy, because these are the use cases. Let's say you purchase 1,000 copies. The person who evaluated Copilot knows that 1,000 people will benefit from it. But after purchase, after allocating license, have those 1,000 people been told about this use case? Or they are just doing random R&D on their own and then fizzling out? That is what is happening in most customers. So the same list becomes your adoption strategy. And you have to make sure, you means not one person in IT, you form a team, IT, HR, L&D, and top management, to make sure that each of these potential benefits become actual benefits by delivering it as an SOP or a best practice to all users for whom you have the licenses. That's how you transform the organization. Now, coming back, let's see some other use cases. We have a lot of emails to do. So let's see email related stuff. Drafting email is easy. Go to Copilot. Old Copilot or old version of Outlook also has it now. If you don't see it, update your version of Outlook. Browser version has it. Mobile version has it. So I'm asking it to create an invitation for an event where I'm going to coach leadership about efficiency transformation. So it created this out of the box. And if I want, I can ask it to refine it and so on. Now, also remember, each product of Copilot within each app, whether Outlook, PowerPoint, and so on, has some differential capabilities. What do I mean by that? Yeah. As of now, of course, everything I'm saying is as of now, this Outlook thingy does not have the ability to refer to a file outside. And if I want that, then what do? Well, I will have to generate it in an app which has Copilot where it can refer to a file. So this is the matrix of which app. So Copilot Chat, Word, PowerPoint, OneNote. These can have capabilities of, so maximum capability in terms of referring to other files is chat and Word. It can refer to Word files, Excel files, PDFs, emails, meetings. It can also refer to people, and it can do web search. Word also similar. PowerPoint earlier was only Word file. Just last week, as I told you, this evolves very fast. PDFs also it can refer to. OneNote also has. So Outlook currently does not have ability to refer to files. So if I want to draft an email and I want to refer to a file, I do it in chat, get the text, and then copy paste it in Outlook. Why is this happening? Because there are multiple teams working in parallel, and Outlook team had some other priorities which they are focusing on. Eventually, all the capabilities will equalize across the board. All right, so coming back, let's see what else Outlook can do. So another one common thing is summarize long email. As soon as you open a mail, summarized by Copilot is always available. Just click on it. It will look at it. This is some dispute going on for 3 months with 2 airlines. Saying, okay, I have requested refund. They are not agreeing. So it gave me a summary of that. And then if I directly clicked on the reply button, even without reading the summary, it would go through, understand what has happened. And obviously, if I clicked on reply, I have to reply. So it is suggesting what kind of reply I can give. It has already understood the context. And proactively it is suggesting. So this is what I mean. Copilot is teaching you how to use Copilot. I did not ask what to do. I just clicked on the reply button. It says escalate to the other airline. This one is not following your request anyway, or file consumer complaint. So I said consumer complaint. It understood the context and it drafted a nice consumer complaint for me. Now, is this the final one? Maybe not. I will refine it further. But imagine, time saving, yes. Effective communication, yes. Better outcomes, yes. So that's the transformation part we are talking about. And there is another aspect. Many people think it's dumbing me down. No, it's absolutely not dumbing you down. It is going to actually improve your life. And if you think it is dumbing you down because it's doing something which you were doing earlier, there is also a latent thought, it's a competitor to me. Many people don't vocalize it, but everyone is afraid somewhere. So you don't have to be in either case. I have shown you many use cases right now. I will show you many more as we go along. But think, after every use case I show, if I use this, is my importance going down? Is my job threatened? No, absolutely not. It is helping you do whatever you are doing better with more effectiveness, and it is giving you more time. And the most important deliverable or the bonus is time. Because all of us want to do more, all of us are capable of doing more, but time is always in short supply. So it is improving the quality of your outcome and giving you time. So it's a double benefit. So coaching means it's not dumbing me down. I have written a mail because I know my subject. I don't need Copilot for that. Fair enough. But this is a standard operating procedure I'm sending to 1,000 people who work under me. And I'm asking them from tomorrow onwards, when you do Teams meetings, no mail should go to anybody other than the meeting request. So I'm saying from tomorrow, meetings have to happen without emails. And I've written how to do that, why to do that. But that's a big change. Even if I'm the boss, nobody's going to listen to me. So this communication, if I want it to be effective, I need to communicate properly. Now I'm communicating properly. I assume I'm the boss, but that may not be the case. So why not ask Copilot privately? Nobody else needs to know. So I go to Copilot, coaching by Copilot, and then nobody else is going to see what Copilot is telling you. It says you're authoritative, almost dictatorial there. Don't do that. You want many people to follow it. Be a little more friendly. So rather than saying always create meeting, you say we recommend or I recommend or it's best, and then explain why. It also ask people to change their behavior. So show some appreciation. So consider adding a sentence to say, encourage their participation, and then provide more details. I have just given like a step-by-step help file page, but you're assuming people know the nuances and the reasoning behind it. They may not. So it's saying give more details. So what is this? Did my value as a boss or a subject matter expert go down? Absolutely not. It elevated the purpose or the outcome of what I would otherwise have achieved in a boss-like dictatorial manner. So it's not about boss or subordinate. Whoever you are, whatever may be your topic or context, it is going to enhance whatever you do. That's the idea. So let's look at some word examples. Simple is, of course, create a document, but there are more examples. I can correlate different type of documents. Create a document, you can try yourself. Word has Copilots in two places, depends on the product where Copilot is. So Copilot is usually a button in the Home tab. I'm sure all of you know that. But Copilot has, so typically the button is in Home tab, but in Word, in the body text itself, there is a Copilot. So if it's something about the document which is open, you do it here. If it's something in the context of the document, you do it here. Both of them work, no problem. So what happens? Here, I'm asking it to refer to a document, a PPT, which has corporate goals defined. And then I have a proposal for partnering with another entity. I want to see, is this partnership aligned with my goals? So look at the prompt. Check if this proposal, of course, I am not copy pasting. If it was any other thing, Gen AI kind of thing, including OpenAI, I would have to upload the file, which is a copy, and it would not follow my security privacy standards. Here, everything is taken care of. And there is no prompt limit. I'm never going to reach that 2000 limit because I'm not copy pasting this text. That's managed by Microsoft. So now what do I get? I did not ask it to do this. It went to my PPT, found the slide, understood what are the goals. It created a table and it's giving me a rating of alignment, explaining how it reached that rating. And it is also giving me a conclusion saying this looks good and proceed with the partnership. Now, of course, finally, it is my decision. I am still having much more understanding about the situation than any AI will ever have. So it is absolutely your discretion, but look at the time saving, look at the precision with which at least it has summarized what is available. And very important, after this document is created, you can continue the discussion because it still has the context. So although we aim to have very comprehensive prompts so that we get the best results in the first attempt or zero shot, that need not necessarily be the case. If there was a human sitting in front of you, you would have interacted. Do it like that. And that way you will get more refined results. And over a period of time, of course, the way you manage prompts will improve. Now, this is good. Create a document from Excel. So that's another thing I want to show you. Excel currently has limited capability in terms of Copilot. By the way, one disclaimer, I am not from Microsoft. I don't sell any software. I just make people more effective and efficient. So I have no commercial interest in whatever is being shown. So in Copilot, all other Copilots, you will see a button called Copilot. In Excel Copilot, you will see a button called Preview, and that's with a reason. The reason is it is very difficult to do generative AI kind of stuff with any spreadsheet. It's not difficult only for Microsoft or OpenAI. You look at the research being done right now. Microsoft is actually creating a separate large language model kind of thing. It's called spreadsheet something for handling this problem. Because why? Excel is just chaos. I know many Excel fans will be there, but what is Excel? It's just 1 million rows and 16,000 columns. And like that, 255 sheets for you to do whatever you feel like with no predefined structure. Literally what we feel like. So what we feel like in Word is page by page. What we feel like in PowerPoint is slide after slide. There is still some structure. In Excel, there is no structure whatsoever. And there are no headings to mention. Headings may be cryptic. People have put formulas, interim formulas, past data. It's all chaotic. So for a language model to understand what to do is very, very challenging. Microsoft is working on a separate model. Hopefully that will come soon. But for the time being, this Copilot does some things which a power user may not like. Of course, it does a lot of things, but now it's saying, okay, turn on autosave because it needs that for some technical reason. Now it can do things like create, understand, highlight. I know. But if you really want to do something complex, as of now, I don't think it'll work in Copilot. Having said that, this Copilot has some great features which people who have tried this have not worked on. So let me show you one. I have just created some complex formula a few days back. For one customer, I wanted the ability to get a column and create a unique words list from there with a frequency distribution. So I created a formula. Now this formula, if you look at, it's a very complex one. This uses the let keyword. So I'm going to copy this formula. Currently, Copilot will not directly look at the cell and tell you what the formula does. But I'm saying I have copied. Let's say someone else sent you this file and you don't understand what this formula is. Now, ideally, it should have worked because the current cell, but that's coming soon. Now I'm literally copy pasting the formula. This is a text box and it's a very complicated looking formula. I have not given any other context, just press enter and it will explain this formula to you. If you continue the conversation, it may even tell you how you could have improved it in terms of compactness or performance and so on. So it does understand Excel very well. It's just that the operational capabilities are still evolving. Having said that, while it is doing that, let me show you another related thing. So many people try something like this. This is balance sheet, multiple years of data. Everyone selects it and says, okay, ask Copilot to analyze. He'll say, sorry, I need data to be tables. I can't have hierarchy like this. I can't have subtotal. I can't have blank rows. And then you get frustrated. Please don't. Copilot is capable. In Excel, that capability is not coming yet. So select the data, copy it. I pasted it in Word Copilot and asked it to create a document to analyze that. And you'll be surprised as to what it did. In fact, that document I am going to show you live. Live means I saved it just before this session, just to show you how comprehensively this prompt generated the output. This is just a screenshot, but this is the actual document it created. It said, I am going to create a brief report and then financial performance. And it's telling me what it is. It said, I'm going to analyze it based on these. Notice in my data, there were no ratios. It was just the base data. It figured out the ratios, calculated, created relevant tables for it. And then it is explaining the interpretation of each of these numbers. And then, of course, at the conclusion, it's saying liquidity is good, but leverage is poor. And then it's up to me to do whatever I want to do. Of course, the highlight I have done that currently Copilot doesn't do. So that's how you use Word or even M365 chat you could have done in this context. So look at this. What it is showing me? Exactly what this formula did. It is explaining to me. It is saying formula cleans a list of text strings by removing unwanted characters, then processes the clean text. And it's explaining exactly what it did, which is amazing. So very, very useful. Moving on, let's go to some other products as we speak. The other product where we spend enormous amount of time every day is doing meetings. So if I ask you where you do meetings, the answer will be I block in calendar, so Outlook, and Teams or some other software. That's not the right answer. There are a lot of things we do about the meeting before and after. Nothing of that happens in Teams or in calendar. All this junk happens in inbox. So for every meeting which you do here, there'll be one number of mails coming to your inbox with no link to the meeting itself. And that is inefficient. And the correct way to do that or eliminate that inefficiency is to use email to the minimum, because everything about the meeting can happen inside Teams. So create a meeting in Outlook, let it sync to Teams, come here. Why come here again? Because this has loop components now. So as a part of the meeting, you can put agenda, which is a checklist kind of loop component, meeting notes, and follow-up actions. Now, if you're organizing, just put the agenda here, and then let's join the meeting later. And then during the meeting, the notes will be a part of the meeting. Action items will be a part of the meeting. And you can delegate work to multiple people, and they will see their work in their single place of work. So how do I see my work across meetings? I go to the To-Do app, and To-Do app has two types of work. Tasks, where I have given work to myself, but that's only one part of the story. I'm going to attend meetings. I'm going to be a part of projects and chats. There are task lists like I have just shown you. So anywhere other place than I giving the task myself, it will appear here. So these tasks are given to me in meetings, chats, channels, emails, wherever it originated from. And how will it originate? Like a loop task list or planner. So this is how you manage your tasks, and the tasks are part of the meeting. So everything about the meeting, before, during, and after, now happens inside Teams. This has nothing to do by itself with Copilot. This is a new way of working. Convince everyone to do that, and there will be a lot of time saving and effective meetings. And on top of this, if you have Copilot, you get even more benefits. So what happens now? After the meeting, or even during the meeting, someone comes late, they can talk to Copilot independently, ask for what has happened in the meeting. And people who are already in the meeting also can talk to Copilot. Why would they want to talk? I am the organizer, for example. It's a long meeting, and I want to know, have all agenda items been covered or not? Now I can ask that to Copilot. It's a private conversation each person in the meeting can have. So meeting becomes more effective. And then after the meeting, it'll automatically generate formal minutes of meeting by looking at your shared notes, if you have shared some PPTs, and of course the transcript. So view recap button, you will see these are the notes it created. These are the broad categories of notes. If you expand this, it'll give you more details. These are formal notes. Literally, you can copy, put it in a formal document and share. Then it also shows recording, which is nothing new there. But it also shows you who spoke, when did they speak, how much did they speak. So if this was the boss and you wanted to say, finally what boss had to say, you would click on that place. It also automatically detects the topics people have done, and then creates a chart which shows this topic took this much time. So all this happened out of the box without you even clicking a button. And after that, if you miss the meeting altogether, you can go back later and ask it to summarize it again, ask specific questions, and it will give you answers. Bottom line, start using this and meetings will never be the same again. So I'm now asking it to create a table of main topics and approximate time spent on it. It did that as well. So there's another one called Speaker Coach, which is AI based. Before starting the meeting, you just enable Speaker Coach. And then after the meeting, it will give you a private report. I strongly suggest all of you do this. This is not Copilot. This does not require Teams Premium. All of you have this. You just go to the audio videos button and ask it to enable Coach. So it looks at what you're talking about and tells you how you can improve your public speaking. Nobody else can see this report. It's saying I said the word also 67 times. It's even given me synonyms so that I don't have to repeat the same word. So it's a really powerful use of AI. So
okay, the first one, how does Teams integrate with Office 365 services?
Already covered. Next.
How to utilize specific files such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and data
I can't hear you.
Copilot to get the result from our own personal data.
Already covered. Now the first question, let me just address how it works technically. If that is what you're asking, this is how it works. So we have a prompt, we put it in M365 Copilot, and then it goes not directly to OpenAI. So many people think that the data is going to OpenAI because OpenAI created ChatGPT. No, it is going to the LLM, large language model, but this is a copy of the LLM in Microsoft's data center. And on that copy, OpenAI people don't have access at all. That's the whole idea. So because it is in Microsoft 365 tenant, it follows all your geolocation as well as security compliance privacy guidelines. So your prompt and a private version of OpenAI, but even before that, it goes to another engine, Microsoft Graph, which has access to all the data you have access to. In addition to that, it understands the overall context and then checks whether whatever you're doing is properly as per the responsible AI principles. So there is no racial discrimination, there is no profanity, there is no unethical stuff being asked. After all that is done, it checks, are there any related files or data I should attach to the prompt? It does that, then sends it to LLM. Then LLM brings it back with the output. Then again, it screens the output for all the responsible AI things. Make sure whatever reply is going back, I have access to as a user. And then additionally, it has understanding of where the output is going. If it is PowerPoint, it knows how to talk to PowerPoint and ask PowerPoint to create slides. It knows how to manipulate a Word document and format it. So that is how it is a whole integrated and secure story. Next.
Can we integrate Microsoft Teams with SharePoint and OneDrive for business?
Yes, of course. It's already integrated. So I integrate Copilot with that. It's available in all three anyway. So yes.
What features are available for e-discovery and legal hold in Teams?
Well, there is no specific feature for rediscovery and legal hold in Teams. All Microsoft 365 products use the same retention and compliance portal. So go to admin, go to compliance portal, and there is a very extensive data management and auditing and compliance management system available. So you can create your own retention policies, you can create your own workflows at the end of disposal period. You have extensive legal hold capabilities and so on. They are pervasive across all apps.
Microsoft Teams seems to be a very heavy third-party application. What are the ways we can optimize it so it is easy to load and functionality can be slowed?
So it is not a third-party product. It's created by Microsoft. Yes, it got a bad name because it was very slow and very heavy on processor and memory. I agree. But the solution is update that app. That is the thing of past. The new version is not as heavy and not at all slow to load. If you are having those performance issues, just update the new version. There is another aspect. If it is still slow, use Teams on browser. Almost all features which are on the desktop app are available on browser, and it takes less memory and processor. Next.
Can we incorporate user feedback in Copilot to improve its performance and accuracy?
Yes, absolutely. In all Copilot interactions, you will see a thumbs up, thumbs down, and you should actually give that feedback because that is going to help the team behind the scenes to understand what works, what doesn't work, and actually improve the product. So after every prompt, there will be a thumbs up, thumbs down right here, in fact, in front of you. Now, if I click on this, the team understand that this was good. And if you have a specific feedback, Microsoft is actively looking at this every day. There are separate teams for each product, by the way. In fact, not me, many other MVPs in the world have a call with the Excel Copilot team today evening. So they absolutely listen to the feedback, and it should be done because it's behind the scenes some kind of machine learning. For the machine to learn, it needs inputs, and we can teach that machine as a global community. Next.
Can you share the link of Copilot Cloud Microsoft to see prompts to try?
Yeah, sure. I'll put it there. It's called copilot.cloud.microsoft.com.
We will create a summary of only track changes in Word document.
No, I don't think so. I have not tried it, but it does not look that it will happen. No.
How many images I can generate in the free Copilot?
There is a limit. You will see that on the top. Typically 10, I think. But that keeps changing. I'm not sure. But it's good enough to use. And while we were talking about the image generation, because you brought up the topic, let me add something which I did not cover in the session. But there is an aspect of there are two copilots and which one to use when. So as of now, the image generation part is not part of Office 365 Copilot or M365 Copilot, because image generation has many rules, regulations, and compliance policies to follow. But it is very much a part of the free but corporate data protection Copilot. So let's say you have a product, the product description is confidential, but I want to use AI to generate some images. You should use this. So here are some images I created recently. This will show you the kind of quality it can generate. And of course, the first screen which I showed you, the golden thing, is also a prompt. Now, these visual prompts can become really complex and you need some practice. But when you go to copilot.microsoft.com, there are a lot of existing images. Don't just look and admire those images. Click on the image, look at the prompt, play with it, and then you will be very good at it. Look at how beautifully this has done it. This is completely out of the box with one prompt, no iteration. Here it is. It's fictional. Said humans are going to stay underground and leave the earth alone above ground. And it did that. Now this is out of the box. Okay, next.
Can we ask Copilot to go through 30 resumes and pick up the best 5 given the preferred selection criteria?
So 5 is what you can do. Like I said earlier, 5 is what we can do. Here is an example. Because currently M365 chat has the biggest capacity of referring to a prompt or multiple files in a prompt. So M365 chat can refer to up to 5 files. Word can refer to up to 3 files. PowerPoint can refer to only 1. I gave you that matrix earlier. So here is an example. I have a JD and I have multiple resumes. I'm just showing you 2 of them as sample. And now what is the prompt? I go to M365 Copilot / give the JD link. Then resume / take 1 resume. Like that I have to do 4 more times. All the 4 resumes I have given. Now I'm saying create a comparison table and give a rating based on suitability of the candidate. And here it is. 15-20 seconds later, you have this. Notice it is not done yet. It is giving you further prompts. And let's say you have 5 more resumes. Now what you can do? Now this is a new prompt. Now this prompt can refer to 5 more files. So you can have a follow-up prompt saying add the summary for these resumes to the same table. And it will do it. So in that sense, there is no limit. But yes, it's some amount of repetitive. Now, if it is bulk, saying 60 resumes, then that's a programming automation kind of thing. Using Azure OpenAI, absolutely possible. Talk to your IT and development team for that. Next.
How to get the data from OneDrive to PowerPoint by using Microsoft Copilot?
I don't understand the question because PowerPoint is itself stored in OneDrive. So if the question is if I have a file on OneDrive and I want to create a PPT based on that, very simple, go to PowerPoint, go to the prompt area and say create a presentation from / give a reference to a file. Then it will do it. That file has to be on OneDrive, Teams or SharePoint for it to find it. Next.
What all do we need to enable during a Teams meeting for it to summarize the meeting? Will it also summarize spoken conversation?
Yes, absolutely. So spoken conversation has to be first converted to text by enabling transcript. And the shared notes which I told you also will be used. And then both of them will be used by Copilot to create the automatic recap or formal minutes later.
Is there any limitation to the number of slides generated by PowerPoint?
No, I have not seen any documentation of generated slide limit. And if it does something, you can always ask it to add more slides. So here I was just showing you the demo. Create a presentation. Spelling mistakes are no problem. It understands all words in the world. From / and give files. So notice in Word, in PowerPoint, you can only refer to Word files, not other PowerPoint presentations. So That's how and these files have to be on OneDrive, Teams or SharePoint. It'll give you a recent file list. So if you think that I have a file, but it's not appearing in this list, even if I search for it, then that means this file has not been recently used. So what do? You go to wherever that file is, and as it has to be on Microsoft Cloud somewhere. That doesn't mean you have to go to browser version of anything. I have files synced to my local drive because it's OneDrive synced to my local drive. No problem. This is my local OneDrive. Go to that file. It's not appearing in the list because I have not opened it recently. Just open it and close it, and then it'll appear in the list. Or if you don't want to open and close it, there's a more lengthy way, but just for sake of completeness, I'll show you. So you go to the share button. We are not going here to share it. We are going here to get the link to the file, the correct kind of link. So click on the wheel, go to people with existing access, which includes you, obviously. Then say apply, then say copy link. And now I can go back to the prompt area. And if my file name is not appearing in /, I can just paste that link and it'll work. Next.
I have a legal document based on an older legal framework, and I have instructed to create a draft. However, it only produces a one-page summary, whereas the original document is over 10 pages long. What is the limit for this summary?
So I don't know how you're doing it. Assuming the file is on cloud, go to Word and refer to that file and ask it to give a detailed summary and mention specifically some items which you would expect in the output. And if required, give an example. That should give you the correct results.
Similar question, how many PowerPoint slides can I make continuously using Copilot Pro? My system seems to take a break at some stage.
I don't know. There may be some underlying limit, but I don't think any such limit is published. So it may be on a case-to-case basis. So just give it a prompt, let it do. And while in the prompt itself, you can put your expectation saying, this is the topic, this is the target audience, this is the level of detail I want, and I want these many slides. Usually it will follow that. If it doesn't, then look at what it has created, look at the areas which it needs to be expanding on, then give a follow-up prompt. Whatever we do in PowerPoint is not just one shot. It will require some iteration, and it will add multiple additional slides as a follow-up prompt.
How does Copilot's performance vary across different programming languages and framework?
Well, that's a topic more for Copilot, GitHub Copilot. But having said that, let's say you want to automate something and you want a macro for something. Absolutely, this Copilot will work. And it has no limit on languages, neither the spoken languages nor programming languages. It can literally understand all human languages as well as programming languages. So if I say list all pivots, it'll do it. No problem. Any language, any request, no problem. In fact, that's the whole idea. I said expand or transform yourself by using Copilot, because most people are trying to use Copilot and thinking, how can I exploit Copilot? Don't do that. Please understand that Copilot and ChatGPT understand all topics in the world to a very great level of depth. Everything published on the web. Imagine, as a human, you would never be able to read that in lifetime, even if you had all the time in the world. So understand that don't use Copilot just in your domain. You ask Copilot beyond your domain. So if you're finance, of course, use it for finance. But if there is a topic which, as a part of your work, requires you to take a finance decision in HR, normally you would ask someone in HR. Now you ask Copilot. So expand your way of thinking, open your mind, and that is the way you will transform as a person. Expertise in domain you already have, that you will continue to enhance. You will have expertise in multiple related or unrelated areas, and that's how you will grow faster on same track or maybe a different track. Who knows? That is the way to use any Gen AI and specifically Copilot, because it has access to your whole corporate data as well.
How can we make Copilot give better research information and not give hallucinated information? This I have noticed when I ask it to give certain information from the internet.
Yeah. So all the copilots will have a prompt, and unless you explicitly look at this button, they may not even be looking at web content. And this is not a lifetime on and off. Based on what question you're asking or what prompt you're giving, you have to decide in the context of this particular prompt, do I need web search? So if I was summarizing my chats, I don't need web search. But if I was asking something where I need web search, it has to be explicitly enabled. If you don't do that, it will not give you web results. If you enable that, then of course it will include web results. And if it thinks it is necessary, it will also include internal data.
Is a question on pricing, saying pricing required details.
Yeah, I'm not an expert in that because I don't sell the product, but the pricing is very well published. It is Copilot has two versions, one for personal, which is $20 per month per user. That's called Copilot Pro. And corporate, it is $30 per user per month. But of course, you should talk to your Microsoft partner or Microsoft contact for that. I am not the right person for that.
We have covered all the questions.
Excellent. So thank you all for joining. It was a pleasure. Let us know your feedback and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.